G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, on Monday, the 6th of March 2023, the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption announced they were going to discontinue their investigation into John Barilaro and others in relation to the $500,000 New York job he arranged for himself just before he quit politics on the 4th of October 2021. And some people will be saying, oh, well, that's another example of John Barilaro getting away with it, public servants getting away with it, politicians getting away with it, the corruption that is. But I'd like to make a few points. Number one, the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption is still investigating John Barilaro on a number of matters, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But number two, John Barilaro's reputation over the last 12, 18 months has been trashed that much by the exposure of his corrupt, deceptive and deceitful conduct. He'll never get over it. He's always going to be recognised as someone who's corrupt to the core. So he hasn't gotten away with anything. One example, recently he applied for the position as a CEO of Clubs New South Wales, and someone there leaked that he was applying for the job and to make sure he never got it, obviously. So he's got enemies everywhere, both externally and internally within his own party and in his own group. So he hasn't gotten away with anything. In fact, he's probably been given a life sentence by the exposure of his corrupt conduct. Now, while the New South Wales ICAC didn't follow through with this investigation, they're still investigating him on a number of matters, and he's potentially going to go down for perjury in relation to evidence he gave in November 2021 regarding their inquiry into Gladys Berejiklian, former New South Wales Premier, and her secret relationship with Darryl Maguire. Because at the time he resigned, and more importantly, the time he was giving evidence secretly before the New South Wales ICAC, we know now, in August, September 2021, is the exact same time he transferred his mistress, Jennifer Lugsden, who was working in his office, a picture you can see behind me. He transferred her from his office to another position within the department he was overseeing, Investment New South Wales. And he had obviously decided to transfer her out of his office into another position because at the time he was giving evidence secretly to the New South Wales ICAC in relation to Gladys Berejiklian and her concealing her secret relationship with Darryl Maguire and the corruption. So he's got a massive problem there in relation to that inquiry alone, and apparently there's other inquiries. But let's have a listen to Gladys Berejiklian's barrister asking John Barilaro questions back in November 2021, October 2021, I mean.
Conflict of interest that I believe is a concern was that Ms. Berejiklian and Mr. Maguire were in a relationship.
Mr. Barilaro, over your time in Parliament, did you disclose to the Premier all intimate personal relationships that you had?
I would have, yes.
When you say you would have, did you do so?
Well, I suppose on applicant interest forms, we've got to disclose assets or income or connections to trusts that include family members like my wife or my kids or other family members. Those disclosures are done in accordance to the ministerial code.
What about any other intimate personal relationships, Mr. Barilaro?
I don't think that is a normal that's a hard question because my relationship were with my family. So that's a hard one to disclose.
Now, I've played that video a number of times in a number of different videos. There you can see Gladys Berejiklian's barrister asking John Barilaro 3 times about him having personal relationships and whether he's declared them. And the third time he stumbled in a big way, he was ducking and weaving. Oh, that's hard to answer. Well, it wasn't hard to answer, very easy to answer. And I have no doubt the New South Wales ICAC are still sitting on their report into Gladys Berejiklian and Darryl Maguire. But as part of that, there's also been a formal complaint made to New South Wales ICAC claiming that John Barilaro perjured himself in that clip there where he denied having other personal relationships when he clearly did with Jennifer Lugsden. And I have no doubt, given that Gladys Berejiklian's barrister raised it when she was cross-examining John Barilaro, that in their written submissions, I have no doubt that they're going to name Jennifer Lugsden and maybe other mistresses that John Barilaro allegedly had during his time in Parliament. So he's got a lot of landmines still ahead of him. John Barilaro is basically unemployable at the moment, at least as far as any high-profile jobs are concerned. And his reputation is trashed forever, I believe. And I think it's going to get trashed a lot more when the truth comes out about him. Now, I published an article back in November 2021 in relation to October 2021 in relation to the real reason John Barilaro resigned. I'll put a link there below in the description box on YouTube. You can have a look at that. There's a video there and also an article. And Kangaroo Court of Australia is independent media, so please support my Patreon account and please share this video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. Thank you for your time and have a good day.